Okay, so this is a really easy mod to do. I'll just scroll down here, maybe you can see a bit better. There's an 120mm fan in the front, and I've simply just added, I've just taken this out. There's one screw at the top there, and then this pulls off, and I've just added a nice fan grill. This is a biohazard one, so at night that glows through the front panel, this pit, and you can see the nice little logo, and also the dust filter will fit on over it. This fan grill is actually screwed in behind this metal cover, and then the fan's screwed onto it. I'll just put the cover back on. Okay, so and the next one is, and this is what a lot of you are going to be interested in, and that is, just a little bit, is this side panel here. Now you have a fan that's built in on the side, and you have a cable, a Molex cable that you have to connect. And obviously every time you take your side panel off, you have got to, right, so you've got to keep unplugging it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to make some contacts on this case here. So you've got no cables. All these power cables for the fans and the lights are going to be here, actually on this case. And then when you put this case on, the contacts touch some more contacts inside the case, which connects the circuit. So you haven't got all these to keep plugging in and out when you want to take side panel off. You just take the panel off and put it on, and it'll connect automatically and send power to the fan here and to the lights. If you're looking at this video because you're thinking on buying one of these cases, this fan that's built in here, there, sucks air in from here, from where your hard drives are, and blows them out. And it doesn't blow it out at the front, and it doesn't suck air in from the front. It just sucks air from inside here where your hard drives are and blows them out into this part here, because you can feel it blowing out there. And that's also the same on the other side. And a lot of people going, oh, why do you want 80mm fans? Because they make a right noise. These are absolutely silent, these fans. If you put your ear right there, you can just hear them blowing. But from this distance now, from this camera to it, you can't even hear them. The loudest fan that comes with this is the one at the front, but it's not really that loud for me to start putting fan controls on it to slow it down or anything. It's a slight whisper. I can only just hear it from here. So the next mod is, obviously, everybody wants, you've got a nice window here, you're going to want a light inside so you can see all your motherboard and everything. There's no point spending all that money on, you know, really expensive components, and you can't see them through the window. So the next one, a lot of you will already know how to do this, but it's just a LED strip. These are off eBay. I've got 3 more to buy yet. One to just there, and there, and down there, and then join them all up, and again they'll be attached, so there'll be no more cables like that you have to keep connecting in and out. These are just 12-volt ones. You can cut them to whatever size you want, and they've got sticky back tape on the back of them, so you just peel this paper off and then just stick them straight to the case. There's no need to go for them neon tubes anymore, because the converters get really hot. I've even had a couple of them set on fire before. These are LEDs, so they're completely safe, they don't get hot, so I recommend you go for LED lighting now and don't bother with the neon tubes. They're not even safe anyway in my eyes. So the next one is, I'll just leave the side panel like that for a minute, bring the camera around, is a BIOS reset switch. Now if you're into all the overclocking like a lot of BIOSes have crash free and all that lot. This one does as well, but there is times when I'm overclocking and the BIOS just won't reset itself. So I've put a switch like there, and that will reset my BIOS if it doesn't boot up right. You just flip the switch up, obviously when the computer's off, and flip switch up, that'll reset the BIOS, close that back down again, and then you can't accidentally reset your BIOS. Now I've located this in where the water cooling tubes go. Not a lot of people use these water cooling holes anyway. I am going to add another one of these switches on this one here for the LEDs, so it just doesn't look like I've screwed a switch in, so it just looks a bit nicer. It is pretty easy to wire up to your BIOS. Again, this video is just to show you all the mods you can do, and then I'll upload another video showing you how to do all the mods in one video, and I'll tell you which part of the video is for which mod. But as you can see the back there, I mean, I've got to put some braiding on them cables yet, just to tidy it up, but it fits in perfectly underneath that 120mm fan. I didn't have to re-drill the holes or anything, it just fitted straight in. And I also left, I don't know if you can see, the rubber grommet still in. I left it in, and it just gives it a nice fit. And obviously the cable runs into where your jumper is on your motherboard, to give you, so you can do the BIOS on and off there. So you'll have to excuse all the cabling everywhere, and the stupid heatsink. It's all going to be changed to water cooling soon. Just waiting on the parts, and there's no point tidying the cables up yet because I'm going to braid them all white, as you can see there. Oh, I'm just using a torch so you can see. It goes straight into there at the back. So the next mod that you can do is this graphics card actually covers one of them small PCI connection ports. There's one just there. That's a USB 3 PCI 4-port. So this graphics card covers up one of the ports, obviously because of the heatsink in the fan. So I've bought an extension cable. You can just see it at the bottom there with the blue thing on the bottom. Oh, there we go, and the black connector at the bottom there. Now that is plugged into that port that this heatsink is covering up. And what I'm going to do is, where this cable is there, it's like a little floppy cable. I'm going to cut a little square into the back of this panel and mount this further down, so I can actually use that port that I wouldn't normally be able to because of that graphics card there, the heatsink in the way. So I'm going to cut an hole and mount it properly down here. I'll probably do it to the second one up just below them, this there, so I can use that port where normally I wouldn't be able to, which is going to be easy to do, just a little 5-minute job with a Dremel and a couple of mounting screws and bolts. Now if you have got this case, you'll know that it is you have 2 ports on the top that's USB 3, and unfortunately my motherboard doesn't support USB 3, weirdly, so I've had to buy a PCI card that's USB 3, which is a good way to do it if you want USB 3, because this case actually has the well, I'll just show you, it's them 2 cables there, and they give you a bracket that they go through. It's not the tidiest looking, I know, and I'll probably change it in the future, but they basically go in and out the back of your case, and then up and then into a USB 3 PCI card. Now water cooling for this case, apparently a dual radiator will fit up there, but it's more than likely to hit your case, your motherboard, sorry, and a few other problems as well, especially if you want to use a push and pull. Apparently you can't do a push and pull on it, so I'm not going to go for a dual radiator now. I'm just going to go for a single one, and I'm going to put it there with a push and pull configuration. and I'm also going to get another one, a single one, and install it down here. Now straight away I can see some problems I might have, them cables there, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit a 120mm radiator down here, but I'm going to buy one and give it a go, and that one's going to go into the graphics card. I'm going to probably use an an Antec cooling kit, the sealed versions. I'm not sure which brand to go with yet, so when I get them I'm going to see if I can fit one down there and one at the top there to cool the CPU. Also I'll mention I have a sound card in, a PCI one at the bottom there. It's a fairly old one, I think it's a few years old now. It's a Creative Extreme Gamer edition. Just to let you know that it has the connections on the back of the sound card there, so you can plug these ports in at the top here. These do work with this sound card, so when you plug your headphones in, them ports, it basically mutes the speakers that you normally plug in the back. And anybody what's wondering why have I put magnets round my audio cables, it's just to stop interference, and it really does work. I mean, you could probably do a better job than what I've done there, but it does the job for now. I will eventually buy cables with the magnets already built in, but it'll do. Now before anybody says, oh, you know, this build is not the most powerfulest. I mean, it's a quad core, overclocked to 4.10 gigahertz, 8 gigs of RAM, an ATI, I think it's 6670 HD. This computer was purely built to play Battlefield 3 on max settings at 720p. And the reason why only at 720p is because my 32-inch TV that I'm using on this can only go up to 720, which is fine for me because I sold my Xbox and decided I'm gonna go PC for a load of reasons. I am gonna think about putting some LEDs inside here to give this a brighter glow. I mean, I've only got the one fan in at the minute, because when you buy this kit you only get one LED fan on the top. There is room for another one, and you can buy another fan, the same fan off eBay, off a shop on eBay for about £4. Now the next mod is quite an interesting one, and anybody with any soldering experience will easily be able to do it. And obviously, because I've built this computer to play Battlefield 3, I still like to use an Xbox controller. Obviously, because this is in my bedroom, I haven't got the room for a proper keyboard and mouse, so I've got to use a controller. So I bought one of them Xbox 360 receivers that you can plug into USB, and I've actually built it into underneath here. In fact, I'll take this off in a minute and show you, but what I've basically done is I've took it all apart, the actual receiver, and we're left with just the PCB board, and I've basically glued it into underneath here. And then what I've done is I've joined the USB cables to, I think it's this port here. Now if you do that, this port will no longer work. So I am going to change it in the future. I'll probably give it its own USB cable into the motherboard somewhere, but for now it works. And here is, now I know that says the HDD, and I know that's the reset switch. This reset switch now is the Xbox 360 sync button, and that's the actual Xbox 360 sync light. I'll just show you, so you know I'm not lying. So that's now connected. Just pop it there. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Quickly push that in. No, okay then. There we go. So now it's trying to find a controller. Let's resync that, and there you go. It's found it. I might even put a sticker over them to say Xbox Sync and so on. But for now, it'll do. So that's that. Now, what I was thinking, and I am going to do, is you've got a little tray on the top to put your phone and other stuff. I'm actually going to build a wireless charge into the bottom of this. So when I put my controller in there, it will wirelessly charge the controller. And then when you take it off, you can use it or whatever. And also, I'll be able to just put my phone on there and it'll wirelessly charge. There is enough room under this bit of plastic. I mean, this bit of plastic actually pulls out on its own without having to take all this off. And there's enough room under here. There's about, I think it's a centimetre. No, yeah, or half an inch. I know there's quite a bit of room underneath here. More than enough room to get a wireless charge mat underneath. And obviously, I'll take the wireless charge mat to bits and then glue it underneath here. And because obviously, the less plastic the charge has to go through, the better charge you'll get. So that's going to be an interesting mod to do. So you just be able to put because you can actually buy these Xbox batteries that have got the wireless charge built in, and then I'll just simply put it on there and it'll wirelessly charge. Just makes life a little bit easier, doesn't it? And so I think that's it. I need to connect them cables up again, but that normally lights up blue, that little logo there. I'm also thinking about, I don't know if you can see actually, the front. Yeah, it's too bright. But normally at night you'll see that nice logo, really nice. It'll light up blue. But I'm thinking about putting some LED strips inside there just to give these a bit of a glow each side to match this. I'm getting rid of that card reader as well, and getting rid of them as well. I just build this as and when I have the money to. It's a luxury, so it doesn't come first. Okay, so this is the Xbox 360 receiver for the controller that I've built in, and basically what I've done is I've used an old floppy cable, because let's face it, who uses floppies these days? So you can use the cables, and I've basically soldered all the little cables onto where the USB cable was, gone straight across and soldered it to the back of one of the USB ports, and that powers it up. And underneath that receiver is the light for it, so you know when it's synced, and the button as well. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to desolder that off there and probably build a 4-port USB hub inside the computer and then solder it to one of them, so I can still use the this, because at the minute it's soldered to the back of this. So if I plug another USB device into this, it won't work. So if I put a USB stick into that, the USB stick won't work because the Xbox receiver's already connected to it. Now, this isn't really a mod, but if you've got this case or you're going to buy this case, you can actually screw this motherboard in with thumb screws, and to prove it, there's one right there. Now you don't have to, you can just use the normal screws, but they give you a big pack of thumb screws. In fact, more thumb screws than you need for all them ports down there. So, and for here, as you can see, I've put my CD drives in, used them all with them, and there's also enough to thingy your motherboard, so either they're spare or they actually want you to use them to screw your motherboard in. They fit perfectly, so why not? You've got spare ones, you might as well use them before anybody says, oh, you're not meant to use them on that. Yeah, you're probably not, but you can, and it just gives it a bit more of a quality look and a finish. You can also buy these thumb screws, the exact same ones, online, really cheap if you want any more. I have also used them to screw my power supplies. These are slightly different black ones because I've got black thumb screws on the outside, my two-sided cases, so it's just to match that. And I think that's just about it that I can think of at the minute. And I'll also, once I've got all these cables braided, I'm gonna do a neater job than that at the minute, and I'll show you how I tie straps them all on the back and stuff. In fact, I'll just take off the other side and show you how I managed to do the main power one, which is here. You can see this really long white one. It's actually an extension, and it's a lot easier to buy them already braided, because it's a big job to braid. Anybody that's braided a full power supplies know how long it takes, so it just makes it a bit quicker buying one of them. And I'll just take off the case off the other side and show you. Oh, just taking my keyboard out. So, I mean, it's not a bad job at the minute, but it's all going to be redone and done a bit neater. But that's the extension there. So I've just used the holes provided to put some tie straps in. I'm going to be changing these tie straps to black. I mean, these are all I had at the minute, so it will do till I get sorted. And there's enough room to this power supply. You can take these out of the power supply, but for some reason you can't with this one. So I've had to just tie strap it, and it fits nice. There's quite a lot of room in this case to put a lot of thick cables behind and still get the panel on easy. So these are all the USB cables and audio cables for the top of the panel. There's probably a better way really to go to do that. I might go across that bit there. This is the SATA cable for the CD drive. That's just for the front panel, fan controller and everything else. So yeah, there's loads of ways. That is the 12 volt 4 pin cable that goes into your motherboard. They've done a nice little hole there for you to go into, and then you can go all the way down there. So that fits. So this is just a cheating way of so I don't have to. And then what I'll do is I'll just braid that whole cable that goes straight to the power supply, and then I'll have to braid all these, each one of these, which I'm not looking forward to doing, but it makes it look a bit better. So that's what I'll do. So like I say, I'll post another video with all these mods showing you how to do them. So if you just bookmark this video and keep checking every couple of days, and I'll put a link on the starting of this video that you can click on to go to the next video that shows you how to do all these mods and all the mods finish. It's going to take me a couple of days to do this and edit all the video together. Or you can subscribe to me, but you're not guaranteed to get updated of my next video that I upload. So it's just best just to bookmark the video and keep checking it every couple of days. So I'll show you how to do it all and what you need and all the steps. And if you've got one of these cases and there's any mods you've done to it, by all means leave me a comment, let me know, send me some links to your videos. I'd be really interested to see what you've done to this case. I've looked at loads of cases when I was looking to buy one, and I kept coming back to this one. If you want looking at this video because you're interested in buying one, buy it. Trust me, the quality is amazing. I mean, I paid £49 for this case, and that was free postage, and it came next day. I was really lucky to find it at that price, because everywhere else was talking £80 to £100. and I can actually see why this case sells for that kind of money, because it really is worth it. So for what I paid for this, I mean, it really good value. You get everything with it. You get a bunch of screws. I mean, I'll just show you. I mean, if you've already got this case, then you can click the video off now. It's not really a review, this video, and I can't find that bag now. So I'll look in here. Now there we go. They've even stuck their name on it. Look, I don't know if you can see. And I mean, that's all the screws I got left over. So I've even still got some thumb screws left, and a blanking plate, and a proper quality bag. This is just my box of spare stuff, spare parts and everything else. So yeah, you get a bag full of screws and nuts and whatever, so you can put more hard drives in it. They've also got rubber grommets on the hard drives, and the hard drives just click out of the case. The instruction manual, well, it's not really an instruction manual. It just tells you what you get with it, in different languages. But if you bought this case, then you'll know how to build a computer, so you won't need this. This is good for the bin. The box itself, which is what it's sitting on, they actually use the sellotape with their name on it, which is a nice touch. And obviously, look, you can even use the box as a stand. That's the how good the quality is. Because I've had a lot of cases where the boxes are like bloody paper, and as soon as you take the computer out, they fall to bits. So I think that's about everything, innit? The air blows out, so the dust, when the dust settles on here, it doesn't go into your case. You get a filter on the front fan. You get filters on all the fans, to be honest with you. All the fans that suck air in this case. I mean, under this power supply, there's a filter that you can just slide out. Same with this one. The actual paint job on this metal is, you can actually feel it. It's really good quality. I mean, I've scratched this by accident, and the paint, it hasn't marked the paint whatsoever. So they've done a real good job with spraying the inside of this case. And there's no flaws on it neither. I mean, I've had a good look at the paint just about everywhere on this case, and it's pretty even. And it's sort of like a jet black sort of thing, like a matte black. And these fins are tinted, like a tinted black sort of thing. Same with the side panel window. So yeah, really good quality case. Really impressed, and for the price, you definitely can't go wrong.